I've put this video off for way too long, so and I am playing it on the background just because I turned the network on and I didn't want it to time out while I made this video. So, WrestleMania is on the background. You can tell by the title. This is my WrestleMania experience video. Basically just telling the story of my WrestleMania trip. I am wearing one of the New Orleans theme shirts, Hardy Gras. Yes. So basically I'm just gonna tell everything. I'm doing this on my phone because I tried filming this a couple times from my Canon, but I got like 30 minutes in twice and it just shut off. The battery was fully charged. I know the memory card can go for more than 30 minutes. I don't know what it was, so I just decided I know my phone can film for a decent bit of time. So it's here. I like a lot of the pictures. I got a bunch of them printed out, but like me with wrestlers, but I don't like how a lot of them turned out, so I'm gonna go redo them, especially like some of the ones. Okay. Anyway, Wednesday, got there, flew out there Wednesday, got there, went to a Walmart to just get stuff, and Bourbon Street just to walk around, see it before every wrestling fan invaded New Orleans. So it was pretty busy with wrestling fans as it was. Like, I feel like this trip were a lot of like the things that like you hear from tips videos that like were flipped on their head, because like it's these trips and like YouTube, everything has expanded so much to like anything you knew is not really like a tip anymore. It's like it's just not worth it because so many people know about it. But I'll get onto that in a little later of a topic. But there were a lot of people there Wednesday, and it was fun to walk around. Like, the only wrestlers I saw were like SoCal Val and then Jeremy Borash, and I was gonna say something to JB, but he looked like he was just enjoying it and not wanting to be bothered, even though he was wearing his NXT like jacket. But I didn't bother him just because I didn't feel like it. And this was like earlier in the night. It was like right as like the sun was setting, so it wasn't like night Bourbon Street. I unfortunately did not go see that. Anyway, I'm just trying to pull out pictures in order. Okay, so Thursday, woke up, got something to eat, had a decent breakfast for Wednesday, then went to the Superstore like at 11, right before, or the hour before it opened, to get a decent spot in line. That's where I first saw the Lorenzos, Griff, Tika Execo, so said what's up to them, like, met them for the first time, and then got in line, went crazy, like, that first day, first time I stepped into the, convention center, I spent $370 in the Superstore, and then on a poster that like they were selling like before we even got into the Superstore. So yeah, it was a lot of money in that Superstore. After that, went back to the hotel, like dropped everything off, and that's when I realized I was an idiot and bought two Superstar logo posters instead of one of those and one takeover. I'm pointing to it like you can see. But the reason like I'm doing this now is because I got my posters framed and I'm excited. Anyway, so yeah, I was mad at myself for that. But anyway, 1 second. Allergies are trying to kill me, so I'm trying to keep my throat decent. Didn't do much. Went and got food Thursday after that, and then headed over to Access. Got there later than I wanted to, just because I was like waiting for VIPs to drop and they just never did. So went there, bought GAs directly at the convention center, and this was a pretty packed Access session. I don't want to say it was more packed than Sunday, but like it and Sunday, the day of WrestleMania, were equal. even though I didn't go on time Sunday, but that's topic for when I talk about Sunday. But went to Access, got in there. And that's a whole, like, I'll get into Friday. Well, I was going to say right there, so never mind. Anyway, went in and immediately went to the Elimination Chamber Lounge because I knew that was something I wanted to do, get a picture inside the chamber. And everyone starts marking out when Ty Dillinger walks in, like, walks out and, like, towards the chamber, and everyone's like, oh my god, Ty, 10. Then all of a sudden, Mike Kanellis walks behind him, and then I start freaking out, because, like, Mike's the man. I wanted to meet Mike so bad coming to this trip. And, like, I knew he was coming because, like, I follow him on social media, and, like, I have his notifications sent because I'm that big of a fan of his. But, like, before I got down there, I did not expect him to come because, like, Maria just had their kid, I think, like, Tuesday. And he was there on Thursday, like, so. So I got up there, I shake Ty's hand, like, I kind of brush him off just because I wanted to talk to Mike. I was like, Ty, yeah, hi, nice to meet you. And then Mike, I shook his hand, I was like, congratulations, and I was like, I respect you so much for being here right now when nobody would blame you for being home with your daughter. He was like, oh, thank you. And, like, so, took the picture, and he did, like, his best, like, Scott Hall, like, spooky hands. So, that was the first thing I did at Access. First thing I ever did when I went to an Access. Got a picture of Ty Dillinger and Mike Kanellis inside the Elimination Chamber. After that, oh gosh. I said I needed to, organize these and I did not. Anyway. After that, went over to the Zack Ryder line because I knew, I wanted to meet Zack. It was a short enough line. It was him and Jason Jordan. I was like, okay, perfect. Gonna meet Zack. But while in line, it was, like, hilarious. The Miz Taraj were right next to them. And so, like, they had, like, little, like, bucket things. Or, like, tubs, I guess. Kind of like the TSA tubs, but, like, a little smaller to put a picture in the head. Where they had, like, just ice and then water on them for the superstars. Like, every couple of minutes, it was whenever they would switch off between, like, going to the handicap line and then, getting back to the regular stage. Whenever they do that, he would go up to the bucket, grab ice, and chuck it at Miz Taraj. And, like, he came so close to hitting Axel. At one point, Axel noticed it fly by him, so he picks it up and chucks it back, and they just start, like, talking shit back and forth, and it was hilarious. And, like, it ended up with Axel saying "stay injured," and, like, it was funny. They were cool. Zack threw up the pop during the picture just because he's the man. Yeah. After that, dang it. Every time I've done this, like, I knew I had something else I needed to show off because I forgot to in the autograph video. But I forget every time, and I'm not going to go get it now. Anyway, it has nothing to do with Thursday. It's just something in my head. After that, went to the... just walked around, looked at the figure booth that they had. I'm trying to find all my pictures. Here it is. Went to the figure booth that Mattel had, the Elite Squad booth, and I was looking at all the figures because, like, I'm a big figure guy, and, like, Bill was there, the guy in charge of it all, so I was like, can I get a picture? And, like, took a picture with the man, Bill. He's in charge of the whole Mattel line, so. Then, like, right next to that was the Call a Match booth. And, like, I knew I wanted to do that just because I wanted to sit at the announce table and get a picture in front of it. Like, that's something I just knew I wanted to do. Well, sitting there was Vic Joseph. And I marked out and, like, ran into that line immediately. Because the first like independent promotion I ever watched was called Pro Wrestling Ohio. It was on, like, Sports Time Ohio, which is now Fox Sports Ohio, here in Ohio, and it was just a bunch of like local guys, Johnny Gargano, Matt Cross, Josh Prohibition, so many other guys like performed. DJ Z, before he became Zima Ion as Shima Zion, was there. Michael Facade, just so many guys like wrestled there. And that was my first introduction to independent wrestling. And Vic Joseph, as his real name, Vic Tripoliani, like was an announcer there at one point. And so like I was marking out for there. And like I sat down and I was like, dude, like this has been a dream to like sit next to you at a booth since Pro Wrestling Ohio. He was like the prime PWO days. He was like, that's some OG fans. He was like, there's some OG fans right now. So he was just like doing every, like, called the match like twice because called Johnny Gargano with him, called it twice, signed the program, and then like put us on his Instagram story, then like asked if I want to take a selfie. So of course I did. And, like I didn't even realize I'm cut out, so it's one I've got to do. But yeah, I took Vic Joseph, nicest dude in the world. So then Thursday was mainly a walk around, like all the photo ops day, and like I'm just trying to hear. Oh yeah, the reason I did it, I took a screenshot from at the booth. So that's something always happens. I didn't print out enough. Also didn't print out a lot of the photo op things that I did. But I will be printing those out when I get the rest of these fixed. Anyway, one I had to do was the Triple H picture thing, just because that's like, when I saw that stand last year, I decided I was like, I have to do that. And so, but went through all of those, and then at one point walked and saw that Tony Nese had a very short line, so I just went up, met Tony Nese. Tony Nese is cool. I love Tony Nese. Like, he was just awesome about that. And so, after, left WrestleCon, or left Access around like 9 to go to the WrestleCon Super Show, which was starting at 9:30. I think I actually left a little before 9 to get there at a decent time. And as I walked into like the gate of the Sugar Mill, they had like a bunch of merch booths out, or like outside. So because like the Sugar Mill itself was like really small, so like there wasn't enough room for wrestlers to like be selling stuff inside, so they had to like move it out. So it was that. First person I saw when I walked up was Flip Gordon. Asked him for how much for a picture. It was good enough and took it. I don't like doing the whole like fist pose just because it feels awkward to like see. And so like, but Flip did it and I was like, yeah. So that happened. But met Flip, he was cool. I was like, hope you get booked. And then like under my breath I was like, not really, because that's one of the funniest gags going. And I hope it goes all the way to All In, to where Flip does not get booked and he just shows up and wrecks the show. After that, the man Colt Cabana was there, and so of course had to take a picture with Colt. And as you see, I didn't like do the fist thing after just because I don't like it. Colt was cool. He was like the one independent guy I needed to meet going into. Like, as a list of like 10 people that like I know I could have met, and like that were for sure. No, I don't even know if it was 10, but it was like at least like 7, 8 I knew I needed to meet. I met everybody but one. I'll talk about that on the Friday video. And then next to Cole was Chico, the Luchador, El Luchador. And I was just like, day was made when I saw Chico and I had to get a picture. The show itself was amazing. I'm not going to go through match by match, but like Tomohiro Ishii versus Jeff Cobb, incredible. Joey Janela versus Penta El Cerro Miedo, awesome. Every match in the show was like very good. But like, and then of course the main event was amazing. Chuck and Flip Gordon versus Kenny and Kota Ibushi. Oh my, Kenny Omega is incredible live. Like, there are so many times, like, I feel like people just overrate him. Like, I love Kenny. I think he's one of the best in the world, but, like, there's so many people that, like, say some things that it's hard to, like, think it, like, grasp. And it's like, but he's very good. Like, seeing him live, like, I was just like, he's very good. And so, loved it. Let me try to redo all of these pictures. Yeah, so. Yeah, those like that show, and then it ended. Went back to the hotel, slept, woke up around like 7. No, woke up around 7:30. Yeah, got breakfast again, and then because of these waffle makers in the hotel, just 5 stars, and walked over to WrestleCon. WrestleCon was a mess. In Ravi said it in his video, and it makes sense to like why it was now, but like every time I've ever heard like someone talk about like WrestleCon trips like that and WrestleMania trips, it's like go on Friday because Saturday is like where people want to go. This was the exact opposite. Like there was no competition, which is like Ravi, that's what he said, was like no competition, so like everybody was there. Now I think about it, yeah, that makes sense. It was just a mess. It was like crowded. Getting off the escalator, there was no room to like go, so I almost ran over like an old man because like there was legit nowhere for me to go. So like I was trying to like slowly get off, and like the escalator pretty much shoved me, and I like almost knocked this man over. I was like, I feel bad, but there was legit nothing I could do. Got in there, it was a mess. I started sweating like when I walked in there just because of everybody, and it was just not a fun experience. I met the people I wanted to meet, besides one, which was Hornswoggle, and I got the hell out of there. So, as I said, I met everybody I wanted to. I met Colt. I like first walk in, there's John Thorne, Colt Cabana, like right next to each other. So I like talk to Thorne, tell him like, I forget what I said. I was like, man, I love the podcast, love AIW. I was like, if you guys ever run a show in Columbus, I will have front row tickets the minute you announce the show. And then I was like, I'm definitely gonna try to make it up to Cleveland for a show one time. He was like, oh, thanks, man. We're trying to get down to Columbus, and he was like, you know what, DVDs, see any you want. He was like, for you, I'll do 2 for 10 or 2 for 20. And I was like, okay. Or first I was like, how much for the DVDs? He was like, 15. And he was like, for you, I'll do 2 for 20. And I was like, okay. Give me your 2 Best of Johnny Garganos. Got him. And I was like, support John Thorne, of course. And Hornswoggle was supposed to be like right there with Cabana and Thorne. Well, I saw him come up once, asked Thorne where the pisser was. Didn't see him the rest of the day. But yeah, so after that with Thorne, I bolted over to Joey Ryan. Met Joey Ryan, nice dude. Told him I loved like the whole like Jerry Lawler thing. That was another thing from the WrestleCon Super Show. Jerry Lawler, fireball shooting. Joey Ryan dressed as Andy Kaufman in the dick. Hilarious. Did that. Then went and met Road Warrior Animal just because I wanted to get that picture signed, and Animal is the coolest guy. We sat and had a very nice conversation about James Laurinaitis because put the picture down. He was like, I don't see this picture a lot, and I was like, yeah, growing up in Columbus, or like around Columbus, big Ohio State fan, like, and like when my memories of watching football start are like when James Laurinaitis, when James was first playing, and like that, seeing him ultimately led me to playing linebacker, and like so we just had a nice conversation. And then he told me that, like, okay, good, my door finally shut. If you could hear that, I apologize. Anyway, he told me that James actually moved back to the Columbus area on like 20 acres, and like he even told me like the specific suburb. Like, I'm not gonna give that out. Yeah, it was cool. Very nice conversation with Animal about his kid. Another decent conversation with someone about their kid. Met John Cena Sr., Johnny Fabulous. Legit, I did this to get a picture with the ring used US spinner belt. That's legit, like, the reason I got a picture with John Cena Sr. But he was cool. I told her, like, talking, I was like, yeah, John Cena's, like, he was my first favorite. The reason I, like, fell in love with wrestling. And he was just, like, he had a smile on his face, and then he asked if we thought Undertaker was going to come out. I was like, of course. And, like, and Cena's going to kill him. That didn't happen. But, yeah. Cena Sr. was cool. I know there were a couple more people, like, I talked to, but didn't, like, get pictures with and stuff like that, or autographs from. Yeah, I also, this is the day I ran into BTB and Alex Lorenzo. BTB, the man, cool. Like, I was just walking, like, trying to, like, find the Kenny Omega line, and, like, saw BTB there. I was like, BTB! And it was, like, Ohio boy thing. So that was awesome. Then eventually, I did end up finding the Kenny Omega line and met Kenny Omega. And I love the picture, just me in the Cody shirt with Kenny. It's a 5-star picture. I love it. So WrestleCon was cool. Went back, got some food, chilled a little. Went to Access like an hour early just because I wanted to get in line. Friday session was dead compared to the Thursday session, which was very nice. So, and we were let in early. Like, VIPs, they go in like 15 minutes early. We were let in like 10 because like the VIPs just got through fast. So GA, we got in like fast. So I ran over and got into the Elite Collection line just because there was nobody in there. Like, legit, I stepped up, I was the first person. And it ended up being TJP. So, not the best, but yeah. TJP was cool to meet. I liked him a lot in the Cruiserweight Classic, but like some of the like stuff he says on Twitter is stupid, but at that point I was in line, I was the first person, I wasn't gonna get out. Then right next to him was the Brian Kendrick, who had like 2 people in line by the time I got done meeting TJP, so I ran out of that and then met Brian Kendrick. And after that, knew Johnny Gargano was going to be signing, but I thought he was going to be signing at the NXT table or booth, whatever, and Undisputed Era was there, like at the start. So like I just walked to the other side to see who's there, and like as I'm walking, the first table, like past the ring and like where everything else was, is Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. So my ass runs into that line, and this was the most messed up line, but it benefited us so well because legit, like, it has all the like rope where like you just wrap around. Well, like 3 of those nobody was standing there, so it was like you walked in, you wrapped around like once, and then it was like this, and then for like, so like 3 of the like curves weren't even used. So it looked a lot longer than it actually was. So I jumped in there immediately and waited like a solid, I'd say, almost hour and a half. 100% worth it, but it was crazy wait. And yeah, waited almost the entire first autograph session to see Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. But like as I'm standing there, like almost like a little on the second wrap, or like almost to the end of the first, I guess, I hear the Lorenzos and Griff and like Justin walk by, and I hear Matt Lorenzo say, Griff, stand there and don't move. And so like I laughed at it first, but then I see he's like coming to get in the Johnny Gargano line, so I'm like, Griff, come on, get behind. And so like Griff in, and then eventually like Lorenzo's, Justin all come in. And so like help them out because that line was ridiculously long. Like it was so long, it was at the point where like they didn't know like Justin and Alex had a Shinsuke's VIPs. Like it was at a point where they didn't know if they'd be able to meet him. So they jumped out of that line, went through, went to the Shinsuke VIP, got it done, and came back, still hadn't met Johnny and Candice. But in the end, it was all worth it. Johnny Gargano, one of the most personable people in the world. I didn't have a nice enough conversation with him to tell him, like, he's the reason I love independent wrestling, because I got a picture of him and Candice wrestling, and, like, he's kicking her in the face. And, like, I set it down, and she was just, like, he laughed, and she was, like, just, like, scolding him about it. She was like, you could see my face moving. But got to meet Johnny and Candice. Just two incredible people. Now I'm second guessing if like at the WrestleCon I messed up the Lorenzos, mixed their names up. I don't know. Anyway, so then after that I went over to the USA booth because no, I take that back. Or did I? I don't know. I don't know if this was before or after or not. This was before. So right after that, Drake Maverick had a very short line. So I went and met him because I love Drake. Dude shorter than me. I had to feel good about myself meeting someone who was shorter than me, considering Hornswoggle wasn't at WrestleCon. Anyway, did that. And then there were rumblings that New Day were going to be at the 2K cover photo op. So it's like, okay, it's like it's 5 minutes till the end. I get in, people are just going. I wait on the edge. There are other people who are like smart enough, they're like, if it is New Day, of course let's wait this out. And sure enough, the section, like, just sitting there, they see people, like, waiting, and it's like, they know. They're cool with it. Honestly, I could have, like, went up, got a picture with the Ascension, and then, like, the people that were there around would have been cool enough to let me in, but I didn't want to chance anything. Sure enough, it was the New Day. So, this is one I definitely have to reprint out because half the WrestleMania Access logo is gone and half of Kofi is missing. So I'm gonna like cut the whole logo off and put all of Kofi in when I redo it. But yeah, I met the New Day. I was incredibly excited. Like, these are like three of the most over guys, and got to meet them because I was so disappointed. I skipped out on their Barnes and Noble signing when Fastlane was here. But I waited in the line, and it paid off. I didn't get anything signed by them, but it's still, like, the picture with them is the best part of it all. And then, on the screens, everyone saw that Tommaso Ciampa was signing during the session. He tweeted out that he was not signing. And that's why they did the whole thing. It was like, oh, Johnny took his spot at Access. Well, anyway, he ends up, he was there. So I run into that line. And, like, I get in line just enough to see, like, Alex Lorenzo meet him with, like, his Gargano shirt flipped inside out. So, but yeah, I met Tommaso. Very cool guy. So, like, as much of a douche as his character is, dude could not be further from his character. I said it in my top 7 like wrestlers I've ever met. He was on that list, and he will forever be on that list. He is seriously just one of the coolest guys I've ever met. I got up there, and like, I was like, dude, I'm so glad to see you're cleared and healthy, because I tore my ACL like a month after you did. He was like, it sucks, doesn't it? I was like, it is the worst. I was like, it was my second one in 10 months. He was like, oh my god. I was like, yeah, it was bad. It was like cool talking about that. And I had my Cody shirt on, obviously. He was like, so you going, and I had the Takeover poster to have him sign. And he was like, so you going to Takeover? I said, oh, of course. He was like, we have the Cody shirt. I was like, yeah, but I can't miss match of the weekend. And he was like, that's right. And just Tommaso, coolest dude. After that, pretty much, that was a little bit of a wait, so it was after that I pretty much just left. Because also it was at that point where spring break was on the fence still, so it was like, okay, go back to the hotel, rest a little bit before spring break, and what ended up happening was I had a pounding headache, like, by the time it was, like, to get a Lyft or any Uber over to spring or WN. So I just decided, you know what, I paid $50 for two GA tickets. I was like, I'll eat that 50. I don't care. I don't want to be out of commission for NXT. So did that. Didn't go to spring break. Just ate something and then went to sleep. Woke up Saturday a little later because it was the first night in the Travel Package Hotel too. So they didn't have a breakfast. So that sucked, but had to wake up, find something to eat, and then go to Pancakes and Pile Drivers 2, which was an incredible show. A lot of guys like Sami Callihan, with Revolver, Pro Wrestling Revolver, Fight Club Pro, and AAW, went above and beyond. The 6-man tag with OVE, Joey Janela, Brian Cage, and for some reason their partner is escaping me. Was it? I have no idea. Their partner is escaping my head right now, or like just not coming to me right now. Anyway, that was an incredible match. Jeff Cobb versus Shane Strickland was insane. But before all this, before the show, they were out selling merch again. And Desmond Xavier, like, first before I was just walking around, like, Desmond Xavier, I'm, like, standing in front of them, like, looking at stuff, and Desmond Xavier, like, calls out to the guy, like, in front of me, and he's like, you're wearing Johnny Gargano shirt. He was like, you gotta support Ohio. And, I was wearing the, Johnny Wrestling, the NXT shirt, and I was like, crap. And, like, he sees me, doesn't say anything, but he like, looks, he's like, you heard what I just said. And I love Desmond Xavier. He's really good. One of my favorites, like, on the indie scene now. So I see, like, the shirt of his I like the best. I'm like, let me get the shirt. He's like, my man. Xavier, one of the coolest dudes. Anyway. Then the show was just incredible. They had a 3-team ladder match for the Pro Wrestling Revolver and then the AAW tag titles. And, oh my gosh, the besties that ever were, I don't quite know their exact name, but, like, the best, not Chuck and Tramp, but, like, the besties that ever, friends, whatever, won the match, and it was just, great. That match, like, I had 2 incredible 6-man ladder matches, like, on one day, and it was just, wow. But after that, they're like, yo, there's someone here who's been talking shit. We know he has, and that's why we're here to call him out. They're like, Arquette, we know. We've heard everything you've said. And, like, the place was starting to clear out, but they heard the word Arquette, and the whole place stops. Like, I was walking down the bleachers, but I hear Arquette. I jump on, like the last bleacher, like, the seat, so I could see over everybody. And the next thing you know, David Arquette jumps the effing guardrail. And it's like, what? And so David Arquette cuts a promo, and it's like, we need to have a match. He's like, but where? And everyone's chanting, all in, all in. because like Arquette had tweeted something earlier in the week about to like the Bucks and Cody about All In. So I was like, oh shit. And then like Arquette jumps the guardrail again, like starts leaving, and I'm like, crap. So I run into his path that he has to leave to snap a quick selfie, and again I didn't check, and half my face is cut out. But I met David Arquette. Took a picture with David Arquette. Insane. Like if you top 10 things never would have expected on the Wrestlemania trip happened. Arquette was awesome. That was incredible. After that, walking out, something I want to talk about before. Trent Seven cut this awesome promo before. It's in my day in the life. It might be the start, or no, because I combined Friday, Saturday. It's the start of the Saturday, I think. And, oh my gosh, like, Trent Seven's the man. Saw him, Tyler Bate. Didn't take a picture with them. Wish I would have. Just, like, talked to them. Then, Juice Robinson, talked to him. Like, at that point, I didn't have, enough cash with me, or I would have, like, gotten a picture and autograph with Juice Robinson. But, like, I have Zack Ryder's tweet notifications and everything turned on. So, he tweeted during the show about his, exclusive Superstore pin. So I was like, oh crap. Like, I was like, okay, they're releasing it today. The convention center was right on the walk back to the hotel. So I was like, okay, gonna stop into the Superstore, pick it up, and leave. Well, it wasn't released until 6 Saturday night. I was at NXT by 6, so I was pissed. Anyway, I was still there. Luckily, I like heard the video, or like opened the video and played it before I walked in. Didn't. Walked past the outside like merch truck though, and I was like, I saw the John Cena towel, and I was like, okay, it's $5. I'm gonna have to buy it just because I like to buy every John Cena towel like in the gear for events I go to. So I did that, but then also they had Bailey Pop vinyl there, Toys R Us exclusive. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to have the chance to get it again. So I was like, I've gotta buy it. So I bought it. So like I spent $20 right there, WWE. Luckily they had like a card thing, so did that. And then walked back to the hotel, ate NXT, took a lift to Smoothie King just cause didn't feel like walking that much, even though it wasn't a bad walk, just did it. And then NXT was so incredible. Match of the weekend by far was Johnny and Tommaso. Like that's another thing I do. Like I'm gonna reprint a lot of stuff out, and something I'm going to do is get the Tommaso one in an 8x10 so I can have like match of the weekend like the night before. Like there, like on either side of the match card poster, like either hanging on either side of it will be the Johnny and Tommaso pictures. But the show from start to finish was incredible. I did not see a lot of the Kairi Sane and Lacey Evans match because like I knew I had to get this poster. And I also like knew at that point I wanted to go to the bathroom before the takeover itself started. So I went up there, got in the merch line. Sure enough, they had it. I didn't see it walking in, but I was like, they have to have it, right? Sure enough, they had it. So I went up there, stood in line for a solid couple, like I'd say 5-6 minutes. Got it, and then the match card shirt. Because they didn't have it, they only had like the the like graveyard logo shirt. So I got the match card shirt and then the poster. and then went to the bathroom. And came back for the elbow, which was awesome. Then, Riddick and Tino Sabatelli, GOAT tag team, not really GOAT, but I love them. And then Heavy Machinery wrestle. And War Raiders, or War Machine, Hanson, Ray Rowe, come out, disturb the match, and make their TV debut. So that was awesome. Didn't get a hottest free agent debut with like them in the front row, but got War Raiders TV debut. And then the show started hot with the 6-man tag team or 6-man ladder match with Man of the Weekend Adam Cole Bebe, which that has turned into the new woo, because normally go to an event people woo before the show even starts. Everyone's going Adam Cole Bebe and every other variation they can imagine. I almost was annoyed with it by the end of the weekend, but that was just fun, great time. NXT was perfect. Saw Ronda get walked into the front row and mark out for Shayna Baszler's win. So I was like, the GOAT Rousey's up there. That was, yeah. Every match on that show delivered. Yeah, there wasn't a bad match. I wouldn't even say there was an average match. They were all just very good. The title match was incredible. The tag match. I had a thought of Roderick turning on Pete Dunne, but I wasn't thinking about it hard during the whole weekend, and all of a sudden he doesn't. I'm like, what? I was like, wait a minute. I was like, there's no way they're going through with them being tag champions, but there's AOP's out. Adam Cole's dead. It's there's no way. And then Roddy just stomps on Pete Dunne. I was like, oh my god. And yes, it happened. And then, of course, match of the night, or match of the weekend is all I need to say about Tommaso Ciampa. It was incredible. Just, I was fighting for to make sure I got one of the Johnny Gargano papers. I think it's, yeah, my folder's up there, and it's got it in there. Yeah, the show was just so good. NXT, best thing. It wasn't, I don't know if I'd say it's the best thing on the weekend. Because, it's not the spectacle of the first WrestleMania, but it was incredible. Match for match, absolutely, NXT was the best show. You take away the 2 TV matches, it was perfect. The 2 TV matches were still good. It was just, those, weren't the best. Weren't takeover quality, because they shouldn't be. Anyway. After that, walking home was just, or walking back to the hotel was intense, or not intense, but, just crazy, funny, everyone just yelling Rusev Day, John Cena sucks, any type of chant, Adam Cole Bebe, of course, any type of chant, singing Shinsuke's theme. It was insane. Then, of course, Sunday, WrestleMania Day. I had decided that I just didn't feel like going to Access just because, I just didn't want to wake up and have to deal with that. But, Cassius Ohno tweeted out Saturday night, right after NXT and everything, signing tomorrow from 10 to 12. He was. And I was like, crap, if I get up in time, and there's plenty of time to go in there, gonna do it. Saturday or Sunday was, for it being Sunday, the day of WrestleMania, it was a very good access session, I'd call it. It wasn't incredibly packed, but it wasn't Friday good. So I walk in, I forget, I don't think Cassius Ohno was not. I walk, see who all was signing. Drew had just shown up to the NXT line. It was already long, so I was not gonna try and get in that. Nope. Every other line, there was Paige, I think, Just like so many lines were incredibly too busy to try. And so like I'm standing there watching a match and I tweet out jokingly, I'm like, or not even jokingly, but I'm like legit, I just tweet out like with the WrestleMania, I think it was like WM Access was the hashtag. I was like, does anybody know where Cash Sono's signing? And like right after I tweet that out, Cash Sono himself tweets out, up at the USA booth, like not to me or anything, but he like tweeted, he was like, at the USA booth, come by. So I was like, okay, run over there. And like somebody took a screenshot, like, and they were like, this is hilarious, because like it was my tweet from, like, at the Access hashtag, it was my tweet, and Ono's right above it. So, ran over there, was one of the first few people in line. I was wearing my Chris Hero hoodie. Not completely intentional, it was the only hoodie I brought there. But like, I was gonna wear my Roman shirt to this. But it was like, it was chilly. It was like the coldest day. And Monday was pretty chilly. Like the beginning. But it was like the coldest day in New Orleans. So like, I had to wear that there so I didn't freeze. Because I wasn't expecting cold weather. Or chillier weather. But like, getting nice to the 70s that it was the whole week. Like it dropped to 50 and it felt cold. But I got in line. I walk up the stairs and he's like, I see that. And I was like, man, big fan of yours, have been forever. I was like, you probably don't remember this, but like, we talked at UFC 203. He was like, no, I do remember that. I was like, I believe I was walking upstairs. I was like, you were, and I like blurted out, I was like, Chris Hero. And I was like, I didn't mean to, because like, I felt bad interrupting. He was like, oh no, it was fun to talk to you, and like, it was just like awesome that he remembered that. Like that made me feel good. Like, I prompted him talking about UFC, but he remembered like the whole context of it, or like the whole scenario of it. So it was like, it wasn't like he just was like blowing smoke. He legit remembered it, and I was just, that made me feel so good. And so, like, he signed the, I put the program down, he signed that. He was like, you want one of these papers? I was like, if you don't mind signing it, sure. He was like, oh, of course not, I'll sign it. Signed that, and he was like, I'll even sign the sweatshirt. So I was like, okay, like, had to make a nice spot for him to sign. He signed my sweatshirt, and that's what I meant to show off in the, autograph video as well. And, like, I meant to bring, since I forgot it in the autograph video. But, just forgot it. So yeah, my favorite hoodie. I officially have to retire and go buy another one. Luckily, his store is still open, so gonna have to buy a new one to replace my favorite hoodie of all time. Like, I wore that. If you go through to my first Road WrestleMania video series, I was wearing that thing like at least like every other, not like every, but I was wearing it close to almost every other day. It wasn't dirty by any means. It was washed. It just, I wore it that much because I loved the Chris Hero hoodie. So, like, had to retire that. It was a sad day. Went to the cut a promo booth. My promo was shit, so, like, I'm not gonna, like, publicize that. I tried to, like, cut it on Tommaso Ciampa, but it didn't turn out well. I don't know, like, I flubbed what I was gonna say, like, the moment the camera turned on. I forgot everything. I was like, well, it's lucky I do this now, and like, not if I ever actually get into the business. I forgot to shut this off. Hero. I look weird because I was like trying to pose like with the elbow thing, but trying not to cover up my face at the same time, even though like this would have been a perfect shot, like that. But I didn't know. I was like just trying to make sure this picture was good, because there's the one of me, I'm pointing to it like you can see it, but there's one of me and Hero from 2014 while I'm wearing the hoodie. I'm wearing the hoodie. I got a lot fatter in this time period, but I'm wearing the hoodie. Hero's the man. Ono's the man. That's all I need to say. So it was after that, did the whole, like, went to the VR thing, and just, like, did the Raw stage photo op, because like that was the last one, like RAW was the last one hadn't done, so I wanted to do that, and then left like an hour early. And this was where I bought the Zack Ryder pin because they still had some available. Zack wasn't personally selling them, but I don't care. I wanted that I Still Woo Woo pin. So I bought it. It was the only Superstar pin I bought the whole weekend. I bought the WrestleMania logo, the I Was There WrestleMania pin, and the Zack Ryder one. And that was the last time they got me with that exit to access being through the, what's it called? The Superstore. I'm disappointed in myself. I'm doing this video, and I was not wearing a pair of beads. Whatever. Wearing beads now. Anyway, yeah, like every time I left Access, I bought something. Thursday was the NXT poster, just because I needed that, or else I probably wouldn't have bought anything Thursday. Friday was Jeff Hardy figure, and I believe something else. I don't know. Sunday. I didn't have access Saturday, but I did buy something Saturday, but that was... Sunday, I bought the Zack Ryder pin. They legit stole my money every time I went into Access. But it was all worth it. Then, of course, Sunday, WrestleMania day. Oh my gosh, like, I love this WrestleMania. The only bad part about it was the main event, and, like, honestly, I haven't even watched it back yet. Like, this is the first time it's played on my network. I've watched the pre-show back, and I've watched NXT. I have not watched this yet. I've watched back WrestleCon Super Show, and then also Pancakes Power Driver 2. 2 isn't also, but it was also Pancake Power Driver 2. But WrestleMania is the only show I've not watched back yet, because I just have not had 7 hours to dedicate. Well, I guess it was only like 5, 6, or I don't know. It was only like 5 or so, I guess, without the pre-show. Anyway, I haven't had that time to dedicate. But from start to finish, I loved the show. Well, not to the finish. The crowd, like, the finish annoyed me, but pre-show was so fun. The Battle Royals, Cedric and Ali. Oh my gosh, that match was insane. Getting to see Cedric finally win the Cruiserweight title. Like, so much up and down with that man getting the title. Like, Enzo, you goof. And that sounds bad, like, it's a joking way. If the man legitimately didn't do it. But if the man did, he's scum. Like, just screw Enzo. But just, like, Enzo, his whole thing's a mess. That was, like, poor wording, and I full apologize for that right now. I'm just a dipshit, and it's annoying. It's annoying because he was such a great character. Like, he was top of that division for a reason, but he's... I don't know. I don't want to talk about Enzo, though. This was, like, a phenomenal weekend. I don't want that to drag it down. And just the whole show. This moment right here, Oscar streak ending. I was in shock. Like, I legit, like, I said this was my bathroom break match because it's going to be good, but we know what's going to happen, so I don't care enough. Like, so I went towards the beginning. Missed some of the match. But then, like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, oh my God. She taps, I'm like, oh my God. It's like, no way. So I was glad I was in my seat for the finish. But the match before this also, that triple threat, oh my God. Like, to see Seth complete the Grand Slam was, like, a huge moment for me. Just, like, Seth's, with the knee issues, like, one of my favorite wrestlers. Right? He's definitely, like, top of my favorite wrestlers right now. Slowly becoming one of my favorite all the time just because, like, inspirational factor for him. Or for me, I guess. So getting to see that was incredible. and just the whole, like, the spectacle of WrestleMania, the big stage, flashy, the pyro, everything was just incredible. I'm saying incredible so much, but that's, like, all I can describe. This moment. 5-star moment right here. Like, I legit, like, I'm watching Charlotte, but then I hear, like, a roar, and I look over and I just see John Cena running. Like this. Like, the man just took off sprinting, and I was like, I started marking out, I was like, let's go, John. Like, I wanted to sneak my way down, like, try and sneak my way down to the floor just to take a picture with Cena, but, like, that was never gonna happen. Anyway, the show was awesome. Shinsuke, AJ, I can get why people say it was a letdown, but in all reality, like, it had nothing to it. It was like, this was a dream match people saw at Wrestle Kingdom, so let's just do it again. And, like, it took Shinsuke turning heel to make it worthwhile. So, Backlash, if Backlash isn't, like, match of the night, I think we start blaming it, like, on them. I honestly, like, I think part of this is even them, because, like, people like, needed more time. It had the second most amount of time on the show. It's okay. Excuse me. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them at Backlash. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was amazing either, though, but that was, again, like, story-wise. Also, Ronda, Triple H. Or Ronda, Kurt, Steph, Triple H. Match of the night by far. Ronda, like, you could hear some boos coming from, like, because people were like, oh my god, Ronda, she's over-pushed already. But then the moment she got in, she has a presence and, like, took the crowd over. And Ronda's incredible. Ronda's the biggest star they have at this point. Like, that's including my boy John. Like, the only star that they could possibly get that's bigger than Ronda is Rock. And he ain't wrestling anytime soon, so legit, they're gonna have to keep pushing Ronda. So, then, like, that. But then the crowd turned. Like, Nicholas was hilarious. Like, the crowd ate it up. It was amazing. But then they, like, the moment that match ended, the beach balls came out and, like, people just were like, no, we don't like Roman Brock. And, like, honestly, had they let it start, I wouldn't be mad. But legit, it was before the promo package videos started, people were done with it. And it was like, nobody was, or like the people that were booing it, throwing beach balls and stuff, weren't going to give the match a chance. It was like people, like, I saw people trying to defend them, like, oh, well, it's boring. It was like, this is the second time we've already seen this match at WrestleMania main event, blah, blah, blah. Like, again, had they, like, let it go to the, like, finisher spam match that it became, I wouldn't be as, like, mad. But it was the fact that this match wasn't given a chance, and it was at a point that was, like, I didn't get to enjoy it, or at least try to enjoy it, because everybody else around was, like, pissing about, or, like, I don't even know, pissed off, bitching. There was the, like, I was trying to do both, it came out as one. Nobody was pissed. I hope nobody was pissing, like, themselves. That's just weird. Anyway, yeah. But it's whatever. Monday, went on a airboat tour through, like, swamp water, or through swamps. Pretty sure I got some swamp water on me, and, like, that was not pleasant. Anyway, it was a fun time. Real informative tour guide. He was cool. Then, of course, Monday, Raw day. I can't even remember the main event matches that were on. Like, I'm trying to. I think it was all a bunch of cruiserweights and, like, UK guys, so. Well, not a whole bunch, but it was, like, I think it was, like, the Lucha House Party versus, like, Jack Gallagher, TJP, and someone else. Might have been Daivari, I don't even know. And then it was, crap, what's his name? Mark Andrews. Manders. Trying to figure that name out. It was Manders versus Tony Nese, I believe. They were fun matches, just not the most memorable. Then the Raw show started. Ronda snapped Steph's arm again, and it was like nuts. The show itself was very fun. Jeff Hardy's return, Bobby Lashley's return, which got me on WWE TV. It's the second time I've been like, well, something's covering my face with WWE product. Well, something. There's a Sheamus Money in the Bank 2015 plaque. You can see my cousin's face who's sitting next to me just fine. Sheamus' wrist is right in front of my face. You can see my body, but Sheamus' wrist is covering my face. I'm still annoyed about that. Like, legit, I can't pick myself out on a plaque because of Sheamus' stupid wrist, or because I sat in the seat closer to the aisle when we sat down. I'm still annoyed at myself for that one. But then also, I'm filming, like, I've got my phone, and I'm filming Bobby Lashley's return, and you can, like, see me mark out, but it's also at the same time, my phone is in front of my face, so you can't fully see it. Second time this shit's happened to me. This time, my fault. Other time, it's photography and Sheamus' fault. But the show itself was great. Again, one goal I wanted going down there was to see Jeff Hardy wrestle live. I got to do it with the main event, so it was amazing. And then Seth kind of killed the beach ball thing. Good. Seth got the mic after the show and was like, all right, you guys are having all the fun. He was like, now we want it. He was like, so if y'all got beach balls, bring them out because this is the time. Basically saying, don't be a dick during the shows. Have your fun after the shows. So it was like everyone's playing with beach balls. Like, a bunch surfaced. And like, and I was like, okay. Like, if Seth's calling for him after the show, that's when we should be playing with them. Not during the show, you dicks. And, that's, yeah. And Tuesday was SmackDown. SmackDown was... 205 Live was hilarious, but SmackDown itself was a very good show. Paige. Though, that's something I want to talk about. Raw. Legit, with Edge, I didn't really... Edge was, like, the first retirement, like, short, like, cutting a career short that I witnessed in my fandom. Like, of course, Flair, but, like, Flair's retirement was needed at that point. But Edge was the first one to cut short, but, like, I didn't feel as bad. Maybe it was because, like, as a party fan, I was still holding, like, some sort of a grudge. I don't know. But, like, Edge was, like, just, I felt bad, and I was sad because he's one of the best, but it's just, there's something about it. Bryan's, of course, I bawled. Like, I was sad about Bryan's. And then Paige came out, and, like, I legit was tearing up during that, like, speech. I was like, wow. She has to retire. And it's, like, the, like, thing I can think of is, like, these are people I watched, like, start in WWE, like, NXT. Even Bryan, during the game show, his start of his career was in NXT. And Paige started in FCW, developmental NXT. And I watched them legit go from the beginning of WWE to their championship wins and success. So it was like, that got to me, and I was like, wow, that sucks. But then, like, when she came out on SmackDown, I was happy. I was, like, happy for her. I was like, this is great. And then, the show itself was just great. The Iconics debut, awesome. Also on Raw, Authors of Pain debut, like leaving Paul Ellering behind. I liked it. I like Paul Ellering with them though, but whatever they're doing is cool. And then the Carmella cash-in because of the Iconics. a wrestling like a thing on the bucket list checked off. I've seen a Money in the Bank win and like a Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Got that checked off, and now a Money in the Bank cash-in checked off. So yeah, that was awesome. And then what I thought had potential to steal match of the weekend was Bryan and AJ Styles. But Shinsuke Nakamura ruined that match, and so I hate Shinsuke Nakamura now. Not really, but the character he plays, I do hate the man. And so, yeah. Anyway, Tuesday? No, oh, yeah, 205 Live was hilarious. Like, there was some dude, the, like, end row of floor seats just fell asleep. So, like, a bunch of, like, people on either opposite side of him in, like, the 100 sections notice it and, like, just start chanting and, like, random stuff. It was, like, is he dead? And, like, someone checks his pulse and he's good. And, like, everyone's like, yeah! It was, like, the funniest thing. And, like, he wakes, like, security guard wakes him up. And then, like, the chants, how's your nap? How's your nap? How's your nap? Like, something like that. And it was hilarious. Like, it was at the point where, like, I was kind of pissed. I was like, you know, the 205 Live guys are trying to put their hardest work out there. It's like, but at the same time, we've been here for so long, that's hilarious. And so, yeah. This trip, well, I guess stuff doesn't end there. Wednesday, fly home, but, like, get to the airport, it's super early, it's incredibly busy, and TSA just decides to, like, not, care. Until, like, people are pissed because they're almost gonna miss their flights, so then they start, trying. But before that, like, as I got into the airport, I saw Jimmy and Jay Usos going through security. I was like, oh, that's cool, the Usos right there. And then, like, walking through, like, pre-check as, like, I'm standing in line is Mustafa Ali. And I was like, oh, stop, it's cool. And I was like, ah. But then, on my flight to Atlanta from New Orleans, I'm pretty sure the Riot Squad were on the flight. Because I was walking to my seat and, like, people were, like, stopping, of course, to put stuff in, and, like, I stopped, and, like, I had almost dropped something, so, like, when I caught it, and, like, I was, like, standing there, and, like, I looked, when I was, like, my head was down, I noticed dreads, and I was like, oh, shit, that's Sarah Logan. And so, like, I keep walking back to, my seat, and when I get in my seat, like, the one diagonal right in front of me is Liv Morgan. I was like, oh, Liv Morgan's right there. So yeah, the Riot Squad was on my flight to Atlanta. And nobody else, I think, lives in, like, the Columbus area, so there were no wrestlers on my flight to, back home. Yeah. I expect this to go about an hour. I expect it to be a little longer, so the fact that I've kept it under 110, not bad. This is gonna be a bitch to upload. But, this was my experience video. Had the time of my life in New Orleans, and now just wondering when the next trip I can do is. I would love to go to Rumble in Phoenix, but that's just such short. I've not had any planning to it, so it'd be hard to, like, do, and then also with schooling, that would be hard to do. Depending on what my choices, I still have to make a final decision on school. But, yeah, that is this video. I will see you guys in the next one.